Agoraphobic Journals by Nick Bodick. I apologize if I got the name wrong. My friend recently bought a foreclosed home, and while helping him clean out the previous owner's leftover belongings, I came across a box of journals in the attic. Now, it was filled with the musings of Alan, the previous owner. You see, he was agoraphobic. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term, agoraphobia is the fear of the outside world. Now, in extreme form, it can lead to the sufferer being confined to their home, fearful of the entire outside world and all those that dwell in it. Alan fell into this category. Now, I decided to read them. You see, curiosity can overpower decency sometimes. Now, I noticed they started when he was somewhere in his late 30s. At first, the entries were pretty normal, and gave a little insight into the man's psyche. It was quite sad, actually. See, anything he would have to go outside for, be it food, home necessities, toilet paper, his sister takes care of it. She goes out, she gets it, and delivers it to his home. So, without much further ado, let me read these journals to you. Editor's note. Mary is his therapist who would visit him in his home. Anne is his sister who delivers his necessities. May 12th, 2012. Today was difficult. I promised Mary that I would try to walk into my backyard today. After throwing up a few times, I finally mustered up the courage to try. I opened my back door, unlocked the screen door, and stood there for 15 minutes. I hyperventilated more than I care to admit, but finally, I opened the door to the outside. And after just another 10 minutes, I took a step outside. My first step outdoors in 8 months. I immediately felt dread flood over me. I brought my second foot out and planted it on the concrete. My hands began shaking violently. I jumped when I heard the screen door close behind me. I immediately turned around to go inside, but then the main door slammed shut. It doesn't really make much sense. I mean, I guess it was the wind, but anyways, I felt like I was trapped outside. I flung open the screen and tried opening the main door, but it wouldn't budge. I started hyperventilating again, and I passed out. On my back porch, I passed out. When I woke up, my back door was open again. I go inside, close, lock the door behind me. Part of me wonders if the door was even closed. Maybe my mind made it up to justify my panic attack. Either way, I'm not going back outside anytime soon. Right now I'm waiting for Anne to get here with my groceries. I really doubt I even sleep tonight. My nerves are at an all-time high. June 8th, 2012. Today is my birthday. Anne stopped by with some cake. That was nice. And after she left, I went to use the restroom, and on my mirror in red lipstick was written, "Happy Birthday." When I called her, Anne claimed she had no idea what I was talking about. She always has been a jokester, but that's not a very funny joke to play on me. You know, my third year in my home, for my birthday, and, well, she actually made me somewhat miss the outside world. Not enough that I would ever want to rejoin in any capacity, but sometimes I miss spending my birthday around people. No offense intended to Anne, but I don't mind it as much because I know I'm safe here. At least I have that. October 31st, 2012. I hate Halloween. In my neighborhood, houses who are participating in trick-or-treating are supposed to leave their porch lights on, and houses who are not leave their lights off, to let children know to skip that house. But every single year, without fail, kids seem to forget about this rule. And my doorbell is rung about 1,000 times. And if that's not enough, some of the more free-spirited children choose to yell at me from outside, angry because they see lights on, and yet I'm not handing out candy, like I'm supposed to feel bad about that. You know, I am glad I never had kids. But if I did, I would certainly teach them to respect the wishes of another man who doesn't want to deal with strangers in masks hiding their identity. Because nothing says safety like everyone in town running around with masks, doing whatever they want, with perfect alibis. No, I was out trick-or-treating, officer. I don't know how... Sorry, I'm rambling. Something of note, though, is I've been hearing strange things since last night. So I woke up about midnight to what sounded like footsteps coming from my attic. I grabbed my gun from my bedside drawer and quietly walked to check each door. The front door and the back door was locked as I left them before bed. Locked, deadbolted, and chained. And each and every window, downstairs and upstairs, were locked with the latch above so they can't be lifted up. And upstairs, on the second floor, there is this little door to the attic, right? It opens up and a ladder comes down. Now, if you're upstairs in the attic, you cannot lift the ladder back up. I don't have one of those little strings. So, the door was closed and latched. No ladder hanging down. So therefore, nobody was upstairs in the attic. But I'm hearing footsteps. I hear sound up there. Okay. Must be an animal. I'll have Anne take care of it when she comes by tomorrow. So I go to bed. And I hear unmistakably footsteps traveling across the attic, directly above my bed, and then stopping. They don't pick back up. They don't move anywhere else. They just stopped directly above my bed, right above where my face is. Needless to say, I felt a little uneasy. It was difficult to get back to sleep. Although, with Ambien and NyQuil and Benadryl, I was able to get back to sleep. Now, when I awoke, my alarm clock had been unplugged from the wall. I woke up very, very late. I woke up at 9:40, which is a full 2 hours and 10 minutes past my wake-up time. Now, I know I didn't unplug it, and I can't definitively say what did, but it wasn't me. So I go to the kitchen for my breakfast, which is late now, and I hear more footsteps. But they're not coming from the attic. No, now they're coming from directly behind me. So I stop. I turn around, and there's nothing there. They followed me all around the house, but every time I looked back, they would stop. Nothing there. Now maybe I'm just going crazier than I already am. But this is quite unsettling. Trick-or-treating went as it usually does, with a significantly increased number of asshole kids yelling things at me from outside. Little bastards. This is not a very good week so far. November 1st, 2012. Today I went up to my attic to make certain there was no one there. I heard footsteps again last night, but only momentarily. Now I was sure I was going to find an animal when I went up there, but I found nothing. Instead, I found a large number of my belongings outside of their boxes. Not in a mess, mind you, but neatly organized next to their boxes. Now, part of me was wondering if Anne was doing some organizing at some point and I forgot about it. I mean, it's been some time since I've been up there, but I don't recall her ever being up there. So what happened next? My ladder to the attic was pushed back up, and the chute door closed and latched from the bottom. I heard footsteps running away from below, and a laugh echoed through the ceiling to my ears. Now, I had my phone on me. I immediately called the police. They had to break my door to enter, and when they arrived, they let me down. We did a search of my house, and I found that nothing was missing or altered in any way. Also, not one of the doors or windows were open or unlocked. I don't know how the intruder got in the first place. November 5th, 2012. These footsteps won't stop. I've been hearing them every night since I was locked in the attic. And that's where they're coming from. Now, I had Anne go up and check this morning. She found nothing and no one. Now, they're usually most prevalent in the night, between like 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. I mean, I've been losing sleep over it. They just walk around the attic in no discernible pattern until finally they travel to directly over my bed and stop. Then they pick up the next day every once in a while, seeming to be behind me as I walk through the house. And again, and again, and again. I remember back when I tried going outside, the door slammed behind me. And you know, the more I think about it, I think it's related to this. I just want the footsteps to stop. I am certain no one is up there, right? But I hear them. I know I do. I mean, I'm not crazy. Well, I am crazy, but not auditory hallucinations crazy, you know? I haven't gotten a decent night's sleep in a week. I got so frustrated a little while ago that I screamed at the top of my lungs for it to stop. And, much to my surprise, they did. When I yelled, they were at the other end of the attic, and they never made their way to above my bed. Not that it really helped me sleep. I mean, I stayed up all night just expecting them to resume. December 8th, 2012. The footsteps have stopped. I've resumed my normal sleep schedule, and it feels fantastic. I'm actually starting to think that everything was just in my head. I think I was under a considerable amount of stress, and the stress manifested itself in auditory hallucinations. The whole attic thing was a fluke. I'm not crazy. Well, not that crazy. You know, I really think it was all stress related. I feel good today. I feel optimistic. December 19th, 2012. Last night. I'm so scared. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was dreaming or not. I don't know if it was real or not. I just don't know. But last night at about 3 a.m., I woke up. And when my eyes adjusted, I saw someone standing in the doorway to my bedroom. He was tall, very tall, The top of his head was covered by the door frame. He had yellow eyes. They sparkled. Even in the dark, they sparkled. Now, he didn't do anything. He just stood there, breathing in and out, slowly, but loudly. The only movement he made was when he put his hands on each side of the door frame. He never tried to enter. He never tried to communicate. And I think that was more terrifying. I sat in my bed, paralyzed with fear, and just stared at the thing while blinking as little as possible. This was not sleep paralysis. I could move. I was just too scared to. I didn't know what else to do. And at 4:32 specifically, he turned around and walked down my hallway. 2 minutes after that, I heard footsteps in my attic, walking from the point where the stairs drop to directly above my bed. And then it stopped. Silence. I have never been more scared in my entire life. I am not ashamed to admit I cried. I sobbed. I have no clue who it was, what he wanted. I almost feel as if it was some sort of horrible nightmare. Right? I mean, that's the only explanation. It couldn't have happened in real life. It was a nightmare. Right? January 2nd, 2013. Another New Year spent alone, watching TV, wallowing in my own self-pity. That's common. But on top of that, I'm fucking terrified. The visitor stayed in the attic since the first time he appeared in my bedroom doorway, until about 1 a.m. this morning, and I woke up again, and this time, he's in my room. The moonlight shone through my window and sort of illuminated him a little bit. He has long, stringy hair, those yellow eyes that just glow, and his lower jaw hangs down much, much further than it should, like it's unhinged, right? And his teeth are rotting. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, he's got to have nasty breath. I mean, with the jaw and the teeth. So he's wearing tattered clothing, right? I actually think his apparel was, some of my clothes from the attic. And he stood there for 2 full hours at the halfway point between my bed and the doorway. Now, I tried. I really did try to say something. I couldn't. My voice wouldn't leave my throat, and the only movement he made beside his chest heaving in and out, his eyebrows arched. It gave him this angry look. And just when I thought he couldn't get any more terrifying, then he changed his expression to really angry. When he was satisfied, he just turned around and went back to the attic. I don't know how he gets up there, right? I mean, he's not going up the chute, not going up the ladder. It's loud, all right? It's very, very loud when it comes down. I don't hear it. But he's up in the attic, and the footsteps start, and they end directly above my bed. January 18th, 2013. He comes every night now. Since the last time I rode in here, he's been here every night. I don't sleep anymore. I tried going to my couch, but he just came to the archway in my living room. He just breathes very heavily, watches me, and leaves. Then goes up to the attic and ends up directly above wherever I'm lying. I can't fucking deal with this. I don't know what to do. January 20th, 2013. Anne spent the night at my house last night, and of course, nothing happened. I don't know what the hell to do anymore. February 19th, 2013. I have to leave the house. I can't leave the house. I have to leave the house. I can't leave the house. I have to leave the house. I can't leave the house. I have to leave the house. I can't leave the house. I have to leave the house, but I can't leave the house. I have to leave the house, but I can't leave. February 28th, 2013. Whatever this thing is, it's getting more malevolent. At about 3 a.m. last night, I got up to use a bathroom. When I walked out of the bathroom, the hallway light exploded. And this chair from my living room just moves into the hallway. I just turned right around and spent my night in the bathtub with the lights on. So I get up this morning, stiff and moving slowly, and I go to my kitchen. And the chair that was in the hallway, pieces of it, wooden splinters all over the floor. So I start cleaning. And each of my cabinets, one by one, opens up, and the dishes are just casually pushed out onto the floor, glass exploding and covering up the wooden shards, and I had a panic attack. Right there in the kitchen. And I wake up face down in the living room floor, right on the carpet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Living room, kitchen. Yeah, I don't know how I got there. Maybe he moved me. I mean, can a figure of your imagination move you? I don't know if this is real or if I'm crazy. I mean, it couldn't be real unless I'm crazy. But then if I'm crazy, would I know that I'm crazy? It doesn't make sense. It's one or the other, and I don't know which one. I mean, unless it's both. March 9th, 2013. Last night something happened that hasn't happened before. People started walking by my windows, slowly looking in. They all had the same yellow eyes as him. You know, the one who's harassing me inside my house, my sanctuary, the only safe place in the world, and he's there harassing me. So all these people have the same yellow eyes and the same hanging jaws, and for 3 hours, they walk back and forth and back and forth. And then they stopped. 2 per window. They just stopped and stared at me until the sun rose, and then they just casually walk away. Now, the one inside the house, he wandered around the attic all night, but every 15 minutes or so he would stop, right above wherever I was at. Today, I stood at my front door for 4 hours, contemplating leaving. I mean, I don't know who I'm trying to kid. I'll never leave. I'll die in this house. Nothing's going to change that. The only thing to figure out is, are these things going to kill me? Or am I going to kill myself? Either way, I'm going to die in this house.